it going?
How y'all doing?
Good.
Thinking just a couple updates. How are Mason Cobb, Jalen Smith? We didn't see, I don't think, Eric Gentry at practice today. How's he doing?
They're all good. All expected to play. Got no issues. I think Mason's really progressed well. Having the week off was good for him. Jalen was a late scratch in the game. Was really close to being able to play, but we decided to play that one a little bit smart. And I'm going good with Eric. So all good.
They're all going to be active.
Thinking in your eyes, what is the impact that Easton has made since he stepped on campus, and what are the qualities that have make him a leader for this team?
Yeah, he's very steady. I think he did a good job of coming in and getting to know the guys and trying to win the respect of the guys in the locker room, but also had a good aggressiveness about him too early on to be a part of the changes that we wanted to make, and really embraced it. And I think it's his last run, and he's been a guy that I think is kind of leaving it all out there, not just as a player but as a leader as well. And so now you respect him. He's a consistent guy. He's a high energy guy. He's very football's really, really important to him. This team, this defense are very, very important to him, and that doesn't really ever waver. And so I think one of the best characteristics as a leader that you can have is being steady, and not being one person one day and different the next, where people know exactly what they can expect out of you. And I think this team has a confidence of what he's going to be for us on the day.
How important is a Utah State game where you can get a lot of the reserves in the second half, guys like Walker, Bryant? How important is that for their development and for you to see what they look like on film?
That's huge. It's really important. That's why I'm glad we got some lights on so we can finish there at the end. I mean, those reps are invaluable. You don't know, when or how many times those are going to happen, and a lot of those guys get out there, get their first burn in the game is important. Some guys came in and did a nice job. They kind of got that first one out of the way, and a lot of these guys will have opportunities to get bigger roles, both in this season and certainly as time goes on. And so game reps are invaluable, man. So it was fun to see those guys get in and play, and by and large, I thought our guys handled it pretty well.
What's the maturation process been like for Anthony Lucas since the end of last year?
There's been a lot. There has. He was a guy last year that flashed a lot in practice, that was better in practices than he was in games, and he has really settled in. I think the style we're playing right now really fits him. I think that's been helpful. I think having some continuity with Sean, and then also the newness of having Henny in the room and having Dan here, I think has been a great thing. And I think he's kind of realized it's my time to step up and grow up, and so his effort level, I think his just overall seriousness about it, I think it wasn't bad before, but it's definitely gone up a notch. So I think there's been more of a confidence this year that what we see on the practice field, this isn't going to be the only place that we see it. It feels a little bit different, and it's more mature, more steady. And like I said, also I think the scheme change he's one of the guys that's really benefiting from that.
Michigan has a lot of talent, obviously, on the defensive line. How do you feel about the offensive line's performance through 2 weeks, and how critical is Jonah, especially when you go into hostile road environment against a team that has such a strong interior?
It'll be super important. I mean, they're a very good D-line. Some really good returning players. It'll be a challenging place to play. So having a guy that's now played some games at that position, obviously has played a lot of football and been in a lot of different environments, is really key. So he's our linchpin in there. He's the steadying force. I mean, there's no question about that. We're progressing. We're getting more in sync as a group. We did some good things the other night. They threw some different things at us that were sometimes a challenge, especially on a short week. And I thought our guys handled it pretty well. So it's obviously some big challenges coming up, and we're going to need those guys to be at their best.
Has the defensive staff been even better than you expected?
My expectations were pretty high. They were pretty high. They've done a good job. Like I've told y'all, I think I knew the quality of individuals. But how well do they come together? And both them, the players, everybody together. Like it's still the power of the unit, not the power of the individuals. And that's been so far so good. There's a lot of big challenges left. We got a long ways to go.
How much does Killian's injuries shuffle things beyond the first team?
Yeah, he'll shuffle things a little bit. We'll work. We've got a couple of guys that that are going to take a few more reps at center now. And Killian's is not long term, so we were very, very fortunate there. But in the immediate time right here, Gino will take some center reps. Amos will take some center reps. So we're fortunate those two guys have had quite a few of them around here. So losing a center is never easy. We're probably luckier than most. We've got several guys that are capable and have had some banked reps.
Thinking in the winter, you kind of compared the trajectory of this program to Michigan in a lot of ways, and kind of how they stacked classes for a few years, and then things really took off. Do you still feel like, as you look at this program now, you look at Michigan and their trajectory, that's still kind of an apt comparison? Or do you feel like you guys are in that process?
Well, I think there was a lot of, I think in the beginning there was. I mean, it's two blue blood programs, two iconic programs, two programs that have been down. They had both some ups and downs right when Jim got there. A lot of people on the outside thought, oh, they're not gonna be able to turn it around, and they stayed the course. The thing I respected the most about them is I think they stayed very true and committed to their process and ignored everybody on the outside that thought that they deserved an opinion. And I think that's ultimately why they've had a lot of great seasons in a row. So there's obviously some big differences. And I don't get into the big picture stuff during the season, so I'm sorry about the progress piece.
Back to what you said about Anthony. Does his path compare to anyone you've coached before, either here at Oklahoma? Someone that flashed in practice, but you had to see it in games, and then it finally kind of came through.
That's a good question. That's a really good question. We had a D lineman at OU that I thought had a little bit of a similar trajectory. Isaiah Thomas ended up becoming a really good player for us there our last couple of years, and has done the NFL thing and done well. So kind of same thing. Yeah, was it's not uncommon. You know what I mean? Like it's just sometimes it's just a play here or there and get some confidence in games and really taking off. It's not, you see it. You certainly see it. We have multiple guys on the team right now that are going through that a little bit too. So everybody for different reasons, but the lights come on for different people at different times. And so far for him right now, he's off to a good start.
Thank you, Coach Riley.
All right.